Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. To you I say Shalom. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. And in my last lesson, I talked about, the word Google or the number Google going into being 100 zeros. So it was put upon my spirit to look up what is the highest number, or what is the highest number we have a name for. Because there is no highest number, right? But there is the highest number that is named, right? Now, the answer is this is from Quora, but I put in Google what's the highest number we have a name for. It says the world's biggest named number is a Google plexionth. It is huge. A Google plexionth meters is 100 of 1,000 times bigger than the universe. Let's go on through the steps. So, yeah, so that's garbage right there. Because ESO don't know how large the so-called universe is, man. They truly don't. They'll tell you that they create telescopes that can see light years away, but they truly, really, at the essence, they can't. Because scriptures talks about how they have been appointed bounds that they cannot pass, man. All right. True wisdom and true knowledge isn't going to be unlocked until the kingdom, man. And it's going to be unlocked by the chosen people under the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. All right. A Google is one followed with 100 zeros. If you know what an exponent is, this number is an exponent. This number isn't as an exponent is 10 to the power of 100. All right, so a 10 with the number 100 right above it, like a tiny 100, right? But the number Google, which is the one followed by 100 zeros after it, it is like an ant compared to the size of the sun to a Google plexionth. All right. So as the ant is compared to the size of the sun, what they say the sun is like 400,000 or 400 times the size of the earth. That's Esau's terminology, but continuing on. Um, but like an ant is compared to the size of the sun to a Google plexionth. Next is a Google plex. It is way too big to write here, but basically it is a one with the Google zeros behind it. A Google, not 100. Also, it is 10 to the power of a Google. Salakia, this is poorly written, so it kind of doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. All right, so you got a Google was a one with 100 zeros behind it. You got a Google Plex, which is a one with a Google behind it. All right, but you also next you have a Google Plexionth, is one with a Google Plex of zeros behind it. All right, so this this number right here is a Google, but if you put, let's say, if you took all these zeros and basically put it to the 10th power, that would be a Google Plex. And if you took that number and if you took that Google Plex and put that to the 10th power, that's a Google Plexion. All right, and I brought all this out to say that this is how glorious the kingdom is going to be, man. All right, if we go to Sirach chapter 18, I'm gonna start at verse 8. What is man, and whereto serveth he? What is his good, and what is his evil? All right, if you read Ecclesiastes 12 and 13, it says the whole duty of man is to serve the Lord, man. So serving the Lord is a man's good, and anything outside of that is his evil, man. All right, verse 9. The number of a man's days are at most 100 years. All right, so we're talking about the kingdom. And kingdom of Israelites, man's days can never be numbered. But the heathens will still face death. They'll still experience death, and so on and so forth. So at the most they're gonna live is about 100 years. All right, but Israel will never die. We're gonna live to Google Plexians and so on and so forth. We're gonna experience that, right? All right, we might even stop counting after a certain period of time, because it's like as a thousand years are as one day to the Lord. It's gonna be the same for us in the kingdom, man. All right, so we might say, oh, this happened like 3 days ago, but we could be talking about 3,000 years ago. Verse 10: As a drop of water unto the sea, and a gravel stone in comparison of the sand, so are 1,000 years to the days of eternity. Now, if you pick up one little piece of sand, right, you see how tiny it is compared to the size of your finger or even the palm of your hand. But imagine how small it is compared to the entire beach, all of the sand that's under your feet, man. All of the sand that you see with your eyes, but also the sand that you don't see in the bottom of the water, man, under the water. All right, that's how you can compare 1,000 years to the days of eternity, and that's how it is going to be in the kingdom, man. We're gonna have to invent numbers to describe how long we're gonna live and how long time is gonna go on for us, man. We're gonna have to invent new numbers, man. All right, we're gonna eventually run out the meter. All right, create new meters. And I was talking to a brother, and we were describing it. We were talking about the kingdom, and the brother was like, "We're always gonna be working in the kingdom, all right? But it's not like we're gonna be clocking in and working for somebody else, right? We're always gonna be creating and building and improving things in the kingdom, man. There is no peak of the kingdom of heaven, man. There's no peak, man. There is no like a great period of time in the kingdom of heaven compared to the rest of them. It's always gonna be improving, and when you think about it, wisdom of itself, it has no peak. All right, there's no peak of wisdom. There's no like limit to wisdom. This is why this is another power of the Lord, man. This is another reason why the Lord's power really can't be measured, because He's the author of wisdom, and wisdom has no peak. All right, so how much greater is the Lord than wisdom, man? But He gave us wisdom, and wisdom is the necessity. All right, but going back to the kingdom, it's just gonna be creation after creation after creation after creation, and this is why the heathen are gonna be happy. Even the heathen are gonna be happy in the kingdom, man, because they're gonna benefit off of our creations too, man. We're gonna create things that'll benefit all of society, all of the world, man. Esau Edom creates something. It might be beneficial to some, but it's harmful in the great scheme of things, right? Like plastic. Plastic is very beneficial, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's harmful, right? Because if you have plastic kitchen utensils, right? You're eating with plastic forks and plastic knives, plastic spoons. You're eating hot food with that. Eventually, that plastic starts to wear off or diminish. Like microscopic pieces of it, you will start to ingest, right? With every bite you eat, and just like not only that, that's why you see a lot of people with microplastics in their blood. Not only that, the another bad thing about plastic is the pollution it creates, man. All right, that's why the oceans and landfills are filled with plastic, right? So yeah, it's convenient, but it's harmful at the end of the day. There's not gonna be no through shit like that in the kingdom, man. We're gonna create something that's gonna be beneficial for everybody, right? And I believe what proves that too is I believe there was an Issacharite, a so-called Mexican scientist who created, I believe it was a plastic out of a cactus or something. Slovakia. I remember reading that. This is probably 2 years ago. Yep. This is back in 2019. Researchers from the University of Valle de Atamajac in Zapan, Mexico, have created a biodegradable plastic from the juice of a prickly pear cactus. All right, the new material begins to break down after sitting in the soil for a month, and when left in water, it breaks down in a matter of days. All right. Again, this is a glimpse of the creativity of our people, man. Imagine how much more in the kingdom, man. All right. But yeah, I'm getting off topic here. Let me just go back to the topic, Salakia. But all right. So we're not gonna create through shit like that in the kingdom. We're like plastic, right? Or what else is through, but it's kind of beneficial. Or the Esau will create something beneficial, but use it for through purposes. Like in the essence of it, a TV isn't bad. It's what Esau Edom puts on TV that is harmful, right? That what he puts out there to program the people, man, right? Because if you put the truth on TV, it'll be a wrap, man. Everybody will be believers if they saw it on TV. But this is why the Lord didn't have it that way, man. All right. So TV in the kingdom is gonna be beautiful, man. All right. It's not gonna be filled with through shit. Right? It's gonna be edifying. All right. It's gonna be entertaining on a new level, man. All right. Because if you put Jake on TV now, it's entertaining. How much more when Jake is in his right mind and Jake is in has spiritual powers, man. All right. And Jake is full of wisdom. TV is gonna be on a new level in the kingdom, right? Even medicine might be good for you on the outside, right? It might help with some of the symptoms, but it creates more symptoms too, and sometimes even more harmful symptoms than what you originally intended to take the medicine for. We're not gonna create through shit like that in the kingdom. There's gonna be no peak in the kingdom. It's not gonna be in 10,000 years this is to be the well in a way day one of the kingdom is gonna be awesome. Day 1,000 is gonna be better than day one, but it's not gonna be day one. 2,000 is gonna be not as good as day 1,000 or year 1,000, right? It's gonna be even better, and so on. It's gonna keep increasing, 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 because the things that we create in a day one or a day or year 1,000 are gonna be improved upon, even greater and greater, and even new things will be created, man. All right. That's why Esau Edom has bounds that he cannot pass, but Israel doesn't have bounds, man. All right. The Lord didn't put bounds on Israel, not until He put us in captivity. But in the kingdom, there's gonna be no bounds of Israel, man. All right. Let me jump to Isaiah chapter 65. I'm gonna start at verse 17. For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind. That's not talking about a brand new planet Earth. That's talking about the kingdom, all right? The kingdom that's going to be on Earth, man. That's talking about the elect, man. All right? The elect coming down from the ships, man. The UFOs, man. So-called UFOs. That's going to be the new Earth, man. The new heavens and the new Earth. The chariots, man. All right? Verse 18. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing and her people a joy. I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. All right, rejoice and be glad forever. Right. If things wasn't always constantly improving in the kingdom, there'll be a point of time where you wouldn't be rejoicing or be glad anymore, man. You'll be bored, right? This is why the glory of the kingdom of heaven cannot be fathomed with a fleshly mind, man, with a fleshly heart, man. Right? No eye have seen, no ears have perceived, man, the glory that we're about to receive, man. All right, Lord willing, we're part of that number. All right, uh, Isaiah 65 and 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. Right? Now imagine that, right? In these days, in this terminology, if you live to be 100, you're one of the ancients, man. All right? The kingdom of heaven, you're 100 years old, you still be considered a child, man. All right? That's how much time we're gonna have, man. That's a gift. That's the beauty of immortality, man. And how much wisdom you obtain if you're living that long, right? Imagine how much wisdom you can obtain. Not only that, you'll have a new body where you won't be able to forget things unless you wanted to, all right? But you won't be able to forget things. So imagine all that wisdom and all that knowledge and never being able to forget ever again, man. You're gonna be constantly creating and improving, man. All right, verse 21. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. Not like it is now. You got you got our people building these houses, building these apartment buildings, mansions, villas, hotels. They're not inhabiting them, man. All right, they're not inhabiting them. They'll build these mansions and go home and live in the projects, man. All right, that's part of the curses. And they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. All right, you see Issacharites, all right, and NK on these fields, man, gathering the grapes, gathering the fruits, right? They're not eating them, right? Well, they might eat a couple here and there, but they're not, it's not their fruit. They're not making a fortune over that like Esau is, man, right? And Esau will make a fortune over that off of stolen land, all right? So how much more wicked is that, man? Verse 22, they shall not build and another inhabit. It's not going to be like that no more, man, all right? They shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. I was like, I can't. We're going about how long a tree could live, man. And certain species of trees could live forever. Certain species of trees live thousands of years. That's why you see old images of Esau Edom cutting down trees. And those trees are massive, man. Those trees are the size of houses, right? And width-wise, man. All right, how long were those trees alive for? Hundreds, if not thousands of years. All right, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. It's like me and the brother was talking about how we're always going to be building and creating and working in the kingdom, man. All right, but we're going to enjoy the work of our hands. We can't enjoy the work of our hands now because the shit that we work on doesn't belong to us, man. All right, you could work at Ford, building cars, but you're not driving the cars that's being built, right? You're not driving the Shelby Mustangs. You're not driving the Chevy Corvettes. You're not driving the Maybach Benzes, man. All right. Yeah, you could drive a Benz, but get your ass in that C class, nigga. This is how we're treated, man. We're building and we're not enjoying the work of our hands because what we build doesn't belong to us. Nor do we profit off the things that we build, man. We get a small percentage of the profits being as in the form of a salary or hourly wages. All right. But this is why Esau Edom has this system like this, where you start a job, and you work 2 weeks or sometimes even 3 weeks before you get paid, man. All right. Okay. If you start the job at the end of the first pay period, right, you gotta work that first week, and then the next week is the beginning of the next pay period, and then so you don't get paid for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. All right. Your first paycheck, and your first paycheck would be tiny as hell because you only work half of the pay period. So you don't get like a full paycheck. All right. So this is why we can't enjoy the work of our hands, man. All right. Because you're not supposed to work and not get paid that same day. It's not supposed to be like that, man. That's a wicked system. All right. Esau Edom set it up like that to borrow against the you basically borrowing against the employee. All right. All right. You come work for me, and I'll pay you this amount of money for the year or this amount of money every 2 weeks. All right. But you're not gonna get paid until you work for 2 weeks. So now Esau Edom is using the what you produce or using the work that you create to make to generate income, and then you get a portion of that income. Right. You're basically working off of credit, man. Everything on Esau society is about borrowing debt, leveraging debt, man. All right, debt isn't wealth, but it is in Esau society. Debt is wealth, man, which is it's mind-boggling to think about, man. But continuing on, Isaiah 65:23, they shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. All right, going back to a lineage thing, a heritage thing, man. This is a bloodline thing, man. Not everybody could become an Israelite, But anybody could become Jewish. See how Esau works, man? It's backwards. All right. Verse 24. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. All right. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and the dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord. All right. But, that was the point of that. Really, I wanted to bring out how, the days of the elect is going to be the same as the tree, man. All right. It's really without number. As long as it's not interfered with, a tree could go on forever, man. All right. It's like some animals could live a long ass time, man. A turtle has a long ass lifespan, man, and that's in as in their flesh, man, not in the flesh, because they don't have the same flesh as man. As the scripture said, there's a certain type of flesh that belongs to man and beast, man. Roughly paraphrasing. All right, but a turtle could live a long ass time, hundreds if not thousands of years, man. Actually, I believe sharks are the same way too, man. So how not much more the so-called Israelite man that has dominion over them, man. All right, it might be a turtle or a tortoise. Smaller species only live about a quarter of a century, and the terrestrial box turtles live typically to 40 or 50 years, but can live to be 100. Can turtles live for 2,000 years? Large species such as sea turtles are estimated to live about 80 years. The giant tortoise, the largest of all land turtles, typically lives at least a century. Some have even been known to live for more than 200 years. All right, so that's just a turtle, man. All right, can turtles live up to 500 years? Their lifespan can be 150 years or more. As with whales, sharks, and other species, it is often difficult to determine a turtle's exact age. After all, researchers are not usually present when animals are born, right? So you really can't determine how long a specific turtle is, right? Some have been estimated, however, that large turtles may be able to live to 400 to 500 years. All right, so how much more the Israelite man that has dominion over the animals are expected to live, man? All right, but I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the elect of Israel. Until next time, I want to say Shalom and Abad Babal.